Hi everyone, it's Cam Roberts here. Welcome to another Business Reinvented broadcast, and I'm joined with my good friend and business partner, Steve Plummer. Thanks, Steve, for coming on.
Thanks, Cam. Welcome, and hi everyone. Great to see you here.
Now, we've put together today's training just to help those people that use webinars to sell their services, sell their products, and Steve's going to unpack some of the things that you can do, the 3 easy and fast ways that you can boost webinar sales. But before we do that, if you're watching this on one of the streams where we're streaming this live, either on Facebook or YouTube, and you do have a question while we're doing the training, just pop the question in as we're doing the training. And if I see it come up while Steve's doing the training, I'll get to it at the end. Otherwise, if we don't get to it during the training and you leave us a comment or a question, Steve and I will circle back to it after the live has been finished and recorded. And you might be watching the replay. And if you're watching the replay, that's cool too. Just leave us a comment and Steve and I will circle back to that comment or question as well. So Steve, would you like to tell the folks what are they going to learn today on today's business broadcast?
Yeah, absolutely, Cam. And thanks for the intro. Look, the key thing for me, and I'll explain why shortly, I'm going to be dropping 3 gold nuggets to help you with your conversions during a sales event. Now, we've said here on webinars, but the fundamentals that I'm sharing with you today, they apply really across any media. So that's face-to-face selling, selling online, and even in your copy, your sales copy, your advertisements, your emails. This foundation, I think, is really important today. And Cam and I were discussing this off camera. And so I'm looking forward to sharing a couple of things with you, because the small tweaks, the 3 gold nuggets that I share with you and I drop here on this training can make a big difference. It's that old thing, Cam, that, you're very familiar with, that saying of small hinges swing big doors. And it's, it's one of those things. It's when because you and I look at a lot of copy, right, with clients that we have individually and collectively, and I do see a lot of this thing missing from a lot of the copy. And what I'm actually talking about here, Cam, is that, and it's especially today in these uncertain times, and my goodness, look at how things have changed since February, for instance, or since the middle of March, right? The world has just turned on its head. And in uncertain times, people always gravitate, because of the uncertainty, to authority. And so what you really need to do, and again, sales conversation, sales copy, whatever it might be, you need to be presenting yourself as the authority in your niche. You will find selling, you'll find converting much easier, much smoother when you are the authority. And if you look at the diagram on the screen there, if you're the person in red at the top there of the pyramid or the triangle, that's who people look up to. Sure, they might go to a few of the orange people, and but no one really wants to get advice from the person in blue there, do they? It's that really important authority figure that people want. And like I said, there are some fairly quick, simple, and easy things you can do in your copy that actually change the game, in your favor, and help present you as that authority figure. And look, again, just to drill down into this a little bit and to unpack it a little bit more about why it's so important to be an authority or an expert. It's in tough times, right? People often delay a sale, right? And they delay it for a number of reasons, right? They want to make you a commodity rather than someone they want to give a lot of money to. And when that happens, when things are commoditized, prices go down, and that's never good for business, right? As business people, we want to be doing things at a profit. But in tough times, it's easy for anyone, either a consumer or a business, to postpone their expenditure, right? That's things are uncertain and so forth. If then they question, is it really necessary? I can probably get away with it. I might just wait and see. Then is there a cheaper alternative out there? And that just becomes that race to the bottom of that negative spiral going down. So being an authority or an expert does help get you out of that particular negative spiral and that race to the bottom. So being an authority in your niche is important to combat that commoditization. And little things that you can do in your copy are really effective in terms of positioning yourself. The other thing, Cam, too, is that to be an authority or an expert in times like now, where there's a lot of fear around, people gravitate to that, right? No one wants to go to the semi-professional person, guy or girl. Everyone wants to go to that person at the top of the tree. There's safety in that whole notion of, if someone is an expert or an authority, they will have the answers. And so within your market, within your niche, you have to be presenting to combat that fear that you are the expert in your niche. And there are things that you can do, just small tweaks in your copy, which I'm going to share with you very shortly, which will help you do that. So the expert authority, really, really important.
Yeah, that's a real, sorry to jump in, Steve.
Yeah,
that's a really good point. We're seeing that across the board in our clients' projects as well, in their own marketing. Those people who are an authority are getting the traction, are getting the audience, are getting the eyeballs, especially now, even more so than what used to be the case.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's a really good point, Cam. Now more than ever, it's more important to be that authority and to present yourself as authority. Now, understand what I'm going to share with you, the 3 nuggets I'm going to drop, that you can't just make this stuff up, right? This has to,
That's right.
You have to be authentic with it. People spot a fake a mile away. So that authenticity, is really important. But it's about coming at it from a strategic point of view, and you're thinking through, well, what have I got that can position me as an expert or an authority within my niche? Because that's what people are looking for. That's what people, in times of fear, times of uncertainty, that's what people are looking to gravitate towards. And the number one way, Cam, is to be specific in all of your copy. Oh, well, that's nothing new. No, it's not. But we are seeing a lot of it where it's done, or it's the specificity of things is not done specifically enough. If I can use that play on words, it's almost like one of those things. Well, we kind of know about it, but we don't do it enough in our copy and in our sales conversations. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you 3 ways to be specific, which builds your authority, with a couple of examples, because examples obviously, help you translate between theory and practice. So let's get into a couple of them. All right. So gold nugget number 1 to help build authority and expert status is to name drop. So what do I mean by that? Well, if anyone's been around me long enough and they've seen me live, they will have seen me tell this story about being a freelance journalist and doing the story on Daniel Geale, the boxer, that he then that gave him his ring name, and he went on to become a world champion. And one of the reasons I tell that to people is, 1, to highlight the importance of a good headline in their copy, but 2, also as a published writer, it's proof that I can do what I say. Now, understand, as I'm doing this, I do it sort of in passing. It's just a quick thing. This slide has probably been on the screen longer than if I was doing a presentation, or maybe around about that. So I guess my key message here is, when you are name dropping, you don't want it to be this long, drawn-out, long-winded thing that, so, well, Cam, back in 2005, I was really looking for a story to do, so I did my research, and you're lost, you're bored, you've switched off. So when you name drop, do it smoothly and quickly within either your copy or within your sales conversation. And the social media example, Cam, now everyone, this did quite well as a post several weeks ago when the world was a completely different place, when we were starting off running live events, which no one even speaks about now. But another really good example is the other way you can add credibility is to add slice of life things in there. And so, just really quickly, I'll just read out the first two lines of that. This is how the post started, this Facebook post. They ignored us. Well, pretty much. You see, after a week, almost like clockwork, week after week, almost like clockwork, I'd meet with Cameron Roberts in a funky local cafe, a piccolo for me, a carrot and AJ for Cam. Now, notice that just that little fact about what I drank and what you drank gives some realism and some authenticity to it. So it's important you pick little bits of information that add authenticity to what you say. Notice again, I didn't go on, well, the piccolo came out, it had a lovely texture to it, and there were two sugars. It's not like that. It's a nice, easy drop that makes it real and puts people in the picture. The other thing, just a bit further. Sorry, Cam, go on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's conversational, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah. And it just brings that slice of life reality, but it's just dropped in passing. The other thing further down where the second arrow is there, Cam, it's I've then segued in, but here's the thing: from our combined 30 plus years experience working with hundreds of businesses, we knew that this trendy Sunshine Coast Cafe was not alone. Now, again, there's not a whole big bio on us, how we work with this business and that business, within the context of this particular copy. But I've deliberately dropped the nugget there of 30 plus years experience in this marketing and business game. So just from those two little slices of life there, you've got some realism, you've got some authenticity, but you've also got authority. And that's really, really important in every one of our sales messages, as I said, online or offline. So I suggest you strategically think about those little nuggets that you can drop into your copy, into your sales conversations, into your webinars that set you up as that authority figure. So let's have a look at a couple more. So nugget number 2 is to number drop. Now, if we're dropping names, it makes sense then to drop numbers. So what do I mean by that? Well, Cam, the example, I've often used this story, and this is only this year, this letter was done, the 2-page letter with the 2-word headline that has done really, really well in the farming niche, right? They've done 2 campaigns and it's been had some amazing results. But Cam, I don't just say that with amazing results, because what does amazing even mean, right? It sounds hypey and like you're trying too hard. What I do is I say, look, in 2 campaigns, it's brought in $72,000 in sales. A 2-word headline with a 2-page letter, right? Now, that is inarguable, Cam. Whereas if I say, oh, look, it was an amazing results, gee, it was good, they were really happy with it. Well, why?
That's right.
Whereas when I can give you a definitive number, that again adds to the authority of it because it's real. And again, it can be just done really quickly in passing to build that authority and that expert status. Now if that hadn't had done those numbers, I probably couldn't use that as an example to increase my authority. But when you number drop, it actually makes it real and gives that authority.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, and number 3, proof drop number 3, because we are getting out of time. You can learn a whole lot from the weight loss market.
Yeah, I love this, Steve. This is great. This is really great.
Yeah, so authority also comes by showing product in action. And how can you show your product in action? Like I said, lots to learn from the weight loss market because they show fat guy, fat girl, skinny guy, skinny girl at the end. Look at just these selections of ads that I found.
Now you can't beat it, can you? Like
it's inarguable.
The guy down the bottom left there, with the gut and then the 6-pack. That it tells the whole story, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And you look at each of the ads there, Cam, the numbers, the names. So there's a person's name, there's how much they lost, there's inches that they lost, there's what number of days. So all of these things add to the authority of that particular thing. And look, I actually think we can learn a lot from the weight loss market. Now, I know some people go, oh, gee, the weight loss market, it's really hypey. It's done, but look at the principles there. Production of before and after. How can you use before and after? How can you use showing that journey the customer takes and done really quickly? That is where authority comes from, is real and authentic results of the people that you are selling to. And again, if it's a sales conversation, well, your situation sounds a lot like customers Bill and Mary we had just a few weeks ago when same problem, same solution, but done really well. And then on your webinars, you'll be showing those sorts of things. Just one last example. So if that's weight loss, right, with the before and after,
Yeah.
I create case studies for my clients, and here's one example, just from the higher education niche. Now, again,
Right.
I've got a specific format that I use where it's that before and after. So, there was a challenge. Here's what
Yeah.
we did. It's the result. It's that journey which shows the authority of the product in action. So, that authority is really, really important in every single sales situation that you have. If you can establish authority with using specifics, remember that's the key thing, to get specific, because the specifics, the numbers, the facts, the names are inarguable. And that's where you go from hype to that authority or expert status.
Yeah, that's really good. Really appreciate that training, Steve. And like you said at the start, obviously that can be used in webinars really well to
Yes.
help increase sales and boost conversions. But like you said, it can actually be used anywhere in
Absolutely anywhere, Cam. It's
Yeah.
the principle, right? It's that
It's the
fundamental of creating authority. What stuff have you got in your history as a business owner that can create authority? And you might think, well, everyone does that, but I'm telling you, no, they don't. Or if they do, they don't do it very well. And so work hard at that authority. It will make the sale, make the conversion so much easier to achieve.
Yeah, excellent. All right then, Steve, we're just about out of time. We like to keep these between 10 and 15 minutes, so we're on 16, so we might just wrap up there if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Yep.
Now, folks, if you're watching this, and I know there's a few people already watching this on the various streams that we're streaming to on Facebook and YouTube, so if you're watching this and you do have a question for Steve or myself on authority or anything else in marketing, please do drop it in the links in the comment section below the video where you're watching this stream, whether it's a replay or the live that you're watching. And Steve and I will circle back and answer any questions that you have. But if you want help with your marketing, Steve and I have set up a page. It's called businessreinvented.com.au. And what we're doing is we're giving people a 35-day game plan to help them with their marketing. And so what we'd like to do is invite you to take that next step if you feel like you need some help. And what we're going to do is recognize the 10 hottest areas in your business that you can improve your marketing on. We'll step by step through it with you, and you'll walk away with a plan, a 35-day plan that you can implement that quickly in your business. And that's at businessreinvented.com.au.
All right, fantastic. Great stuff, Cam. And hopefully after today, authority won't be one of those areas, right? Where,
absolutely.
that you need help with. So, yeah, great stuff, Cam. What was that URL again, just quick?
So it's businessreinvented.com.au, and go and book yourself in on the 35-day game plan. There's a form there, Steve, they can fill out. And when they fill out that form, one of us will circle back to them, hook up a time and day for a 3-way call, and we'll go through the 35-day game plan with them.
All right, fantastic. Thanks for joining us, folks.
Thank you. We'll see you on the next broadcast.